What's up, Road Runners? So what you guys are about to see right now is us get it in at the Cccdr donut ride that happened on October 31st. We're gonna do, a few minutes of, the typical chain game, and then I'm gonna cut the video, and then we're going to get into the sprint section of this video, where I tried a little effort. You have to stay tuned and check it out. What's up, beautiful people? It's your boy, C-Dup, aka Whit. Not a whole lot of talking today. We're gonna get straight to today's ride. What's going on, beautiful people? A lot of you all been wondering and asking for kind of a commentary on some of these Hammerfest ride videos. So what you guys are looking at, as you already saw in the video, is October 31st, Cccdr. This is Saturday morning. Donut ride starts at 7:30. So right now, just sitting in behind Javier as he's wearing his new team kit. He's riding with Team Swift for, I guess, the end of 2020 as well as 2021. And there's a lot of Paddock Racing team here, a lot of Cat 1s, probably some Cat 2s, Cat 3s in this morning's donut ride. Haven't done a commentary video in a very long time. I think the last one that I did was the crit at Tour de Marietta, my annual race. So I'm thankful for everyone that has come along for the journey. We are well over 1,800 subscribers, and I appreciate each and every one of you. As you guys will see at the bottom left, I have my cadence, I have my speed, I have my heart rate, as well as my power. The power meter that I am using, it is the Pioneer crank arm, Ultegra crank arm power meter. And of course, now we know that they are no longer making those power meters. So pretty much it is a Shimano product, but yet still has the Pioneer branding on it. Heart rate monitor, I am using the Garmin heart rate monitor that goes with my Garmin head unit, the 1030. The Garmin Edge 1030, which I really like that computer because you can do a lot of customization with that. My head unit also has the speedometer in it, so it gives me my speed reading, and my Pioneer power meter has cadence in it. So as you guys see here, 4 blocks at the bottom, 2 devices actually are supplying these 4 bits of information if you ever were wondering. To the top right there, as we pass Larry and Julius, because we're working through our pace line, single file pace line is what you're seeing. Traffic is coming up on our left, so the slower riders are doing their turn pulling, and then they are peeling off the front to the right side, and you will see that we will come to their outside or the traffic side to carry on with our single file pace line. But what you will see up to the top right is the course for this donut ride. The donut ride is just over 9 miles long, not very long, but I utilize this for good training to let me know what kind of fitness I have, more or less for criteriums. This is not a whole lot of turns or anything of that nature, but because it is short and punchy, just like crits are, it is a good indicator of where you are for a crit. And this is the A group. I'm currently sitting behind Juan, and we're making our way up to pass Freddie. So we're just working our way through the pace line. So now I'm second wheel. We are going 25 miles an hour. And usually in the front, as you see, we got, Juan has on some cold weather gear. He's got on his knickers, knee warmers. He's got on a vest as well as long sleeve shirt. And so, it's starting to get cold out here, and we're also losing daylight. So it's getting into these winter months, and we're starting to have to put on more gear. But as you see, I pulled through there, was well over 300, 400 watts, and now I'm falling back. And sometimes you have to be very careful right here when you've done your turn. Of course, you're a little bit exhausted and winded. And what can happen is that the pace line can really hammer down and get good momentum going forward. And then next thing you know, you find yourself having to do what I just did by doing a little bit of a sprint or a surge to jump on the back of the pace line. And if you don't catch it right, you can find yourself actually dropped after doing your pull. So again, a lot of times there will be communication in these pace lines. Just to let you know, last rider, when you're up on the front and you're done with your pull, to pull over to the right and or the left, depending on where you are and what the traffic flow is. The rider that just peeled off will say to you, you are clear, which means you can now pull over in front of them as we fall back and as we go through that rotation. So now you see we got the peloton coming underneath me. Everybody is, streamlined. There's really not people falling back. So again, here we go again, pushing Watts to jump on. So now I got this gap, but yet people are supposed to be coming up underneath me to fill in the gap. And so Dave came underneath, who has been in the back there floating, not taking any pulls, which is all as well. And sometimes you just don't have it to do any pulls. So you also have to know yourself. So of course, I have several bike lengths in front of me. And so one, I'm like, okay, I got to dig and I got to keep pushing. You see, my power is up. My cadence is up. I'm going 31 miles an hour to jump on the back of this. And I'm like, okay, let me catch this before LT gets back on the front of this. Because if I have this big old gap, like those six bike lengths worth of a gap, and LT gets back on the front and pulls, I'm not catching this group. So now you're starting to see how the group is starting to really, really break up. Now I have been reconnected back with Dave. Dave is a very consistent rider. Like, he's not one that's going to try to do anything crazy. He's going to hunker in, and he is just an engine. He is a powerhouse engine, and he can just go. He's like a diesel truck. He can just go for the long haul. So anytime I see him, I know that when he is game in, he's a good wheel to sit on, because he will just tow you because he is super strong. So now you see we're about to go up. So, and these are the same teammates. So they're same team, just different jerseys. So this is the, I wouldn't say the 2018 Stormtrooper jersey that Dave has on. And then you have their 2019, 2020 kits where they have where they're actually pulling on sponsor colors, is why you see them. They're red, white, and blue, versus the purple and the different shades of teal, green, so forth and so on. So now we have been reconnected with the group. So again, the jersey that Dave is wearing and the jersey that Julius is wearing, which is right in front of him, different jerseys, but same teams. And as I mentioned in other commentated videos before, it is really good to know what kits different teams have, what, plethora of kits they have, because sometimes that could work to their advantage, because, maybe, a rider wore said kit the day before, and now it's dirty and they have to wear, last year's kit to the ride or whatever. But it's good to know who's on the team, so you know how everybody's kind of going to play their card. So again, this is the second light on the donut ride. And, these lights are blessings and they're curses. When you get moving and you get going and you're not really hurting that bad, you don't want the light to stop the momentum. But then when you're struggling and you're hurting, you want a light so that you can maybe get a quick second of recovery. So right there, I was seeing what Julius was going to do, and he kind of didn't pull through. So I had to go around him. Now I got another gap on me. I have another gap, and I'm just now having to close this gap down, hoping that they don't surge on me. So right now I have been fortunate enough 2 times to have these gaps open up in front of me. No major surging took place, so I was able to latch back onto the back of this. And as you look over at the map, we are just past halfway of this course. And so I'm back with the group again. And so now you're starting to see that the pace line isn't really going as it was in the beginning, because, different people are feeling good and people are not feeling so good. I'm a little mediocre. I mean, my heart rate is at 180, and I know anything over about 182, 183, I'm starting to kind of plateau. So if I'm underneath that, I'm good. I'm decent. I'm not going to say I'm good. I really like to be in the 160 to 170 range. But if I'm over 182, 183, I don't have a lot of reserve. So right now, we are now formulating back into the pace line. You see the guy, we go on front and we pull over to the right. So they'll say, like, right there, you're free. So then you pull over, the guy behind you starts to work, and then we just work that. And again, they say that the guy that's in the draft, he's working 30% less than the guy that's in front of him. And so I'll try to see if we can pinpoint that on this next rotation when I get up to second wheel, so we can see specifically what my wattage is while I'm drafting, and then what my wattage will jump up to once I jump up in that front spot. So again, you have to be very watchful with these pace lines, because sometimes people do fall off. So let's say you're in a group of 6 guys or 6 guys and gals, and you notice that one of the guys has a pink jersey on and you are behind them, so as we're working through the rotation, you see that the pink jersey, he pulls over. Now you're up on the front. And when you're falling back, you're looking for that pink jersey to pass you on your left. In the instance of this rod here, you're looking for that pink jersey to pass you on your left so that you can jump back on. Well, because you don't typically watch your 6 or behind you a lot, sometimes you will lose track of where that pink jersey is or that said rider. And then what happens is, because you're waiting for him to take his turn up, to pull up to the guy that's typically in front of him, you're waiting for him to come up, but he's not there because he's been dropped. So you have to be really watchful for stuff like that, because those cause and create gaps within the pace line. So you really have to be mindful of what riders are in the pace line and what riders are around you and what people are doing. You see people pointing stuff out, which is just group riding etiquette. And what that is, just, letting them know that something is there that can actually puncture or hurt us if you run over. All right, so right now I'm doing 320 something odd watts. Now I'm going to the front, and you see how now I'm easily doing 420 watts. So went from doing 300, pretty much I went up, you could just say I went up 100 watts from going from second wheel to front wheel. So 100 watts I went up from pulling to not pulling, or from not pulling to pulling. So when I was in the draft, I was 200 and something watts. And then when I took the lead, I was then pushing 300 plus watts. So again, when you're drafting, the draft is very beneficial. And so I encourage you all to know a headwind, if it's a tailwind, so forth and so on. You have to know that information. All right, y'all. So y'all saw we were kind of doing a little bit of a chain game for a few minutes there. Typical stuff. You kind of heard me give some commentation through that. Now let's get right into the sprint finish. So what you will see coming up here pretty soon, and I will highlight that, is that there is going to be a break off the front, like a small group rolls off the front. And you see I'm pretty far back. I'm probably about 20th guy back, So of course I'm sitting in, I'm just watching. We got Brandon right here to my left. We got Javier, we got Juan, we got Johnson, and Doza just pulled up out there on the left-hand side out there. So now we're coming up between these cars, and we just have to be mindful of all the cars, all the stuff in the road. You'll see there's a drink on the road right here by this black truck. So just got to be watchful for all this stuff. And so right now I noticed that you see those riders up there. You got 3 guys up there breaking away, and they're all on the same team. Again, different jerseys, but same team. And you got to be watchful of that. So, of course, I didn't see that initially. And then when we come around this bend, I notice it. And you see it up there right now. So something had to be done. And what did I do? Sure did. So I'm attempting to try to bridge this gap right here, and my left cleat comes out of the pedal, as you see why I stopped. Once I got cleated back in, I start sprinting again, trying to make it across this gap to this breakaway of 3 riders. And I wasn't sure if I was going to make it or not. So you see there, I hit like 800, 800 or something watts, and heart rate is up. I'm at 184, so I can't do much right now. I'm just hoping that they don't put the hammer down so I can't catch them, but I do catch them. So you can see I catch the group, and as soon as I catch the group, look what happens. Javier is pushing, so he's countered me, and the group is countering, and because they carried their momentum, I'm at 183, 180, was at 185. I can't respond as quickly as I would like to respond. And so what happens? Because I chose to attempt to catch that breakaway or the small group off the front, and again, it's a gamble. If that group wouldn't have slowed up and I would have caught them, and they in the main peloton wouldn't have surged, the 4 of us could have been off the front right here as we were coming to the sprint finish. But because the group responded, because we were coming to the finish, then I kind of lucked out. Like, it didn't work for me this time. So I'm just kind of easy spinning or whatever. But I'm like, all right, don't give up. Keep pushing. And you see heart rate is dropping a little bit, 178. And you see my wattage is not high. But I'm like, just don't stop. Maybe I can catch a guy or whatever. But you see, I'm only going 22 miles an hour. You can see my shadow. I'm not working that hard right now. But just was like, let's finish the ride. I gave a good effort, and I'm happy with that. So, yeah, that's me attempting to bridge a breakaway. And I guess you could say I was successful in connecting the two. But like most people, if you put in a hard effort before the finish, usually you may not finish too great. Hope you guys enjoyed that sprint finish. I tried the best that I could. Just couldn't hang in there with the group. But you know what? I finished it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you liked the video, please give a thumbs up. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share this with your friends and family. On to the next one with your boy, C-Dub, aka Crit Whit. Peace.